Just when you thought there was some hope in the Lewis Hamilton camp, his first pole position in 33 weekends, a year and a half, and it all just goes down the drain in 15 seconds. I can't stand it. Ugh. There was some hope for a second there, but unfortunately, these are the way these races go down sometimes. Yes, Max Verstappen won again. Hi guys, I'm Dre Harrison. Welcome to the WTF1 Wrap, powered by our friends at MoneyGram. Glad you could join us after the Hungarian Grand Prix. As you can probably tell by the background, there's only really one man worth talking about, and we'll get to him very, very shortly. But I just want to say big thanks to everyone that's coming in, that's tuned in after their race. Of course, we're powered by our friends at MoneyGram, and just because the Hungarian Grand Prix may be over, you, if you're still in the US, has time to enter the MoneyGram Fast Money giveaway. Because of Nico Hulkenberg's qualifying effort, he did indeed make Q3. Sixth time this season, actually, which is good for him. MoneyGram is giving away $5,000 in potential prizes. Just download the MoneyGram app and sign up for the MoneyGram Haas F1 team updates to enter. With $50,000 in potential prize money for grabs every race, be sure to register every weekend the cars take to the grid. If you're in America, the very best of luck to that if you're signing up for updates over there. But we've got to introduce our guest as well, and he is a fantastic vlogger from the world of South America. He's also part of the new WTF1 talent roster as well, so glad to have him as a part of the family. Herlon, you can follow him at f1namochila. Good to see you, man. Welcome to WTF1. How's it going?
Hey, buddy. Thanks for everything. Thanks for introducing me. And yeah, very glad to be here. And let's talk about this race.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, Herlin. It wasn't exactly a classic.
Yeah, I'm telling to the Brazilian fans who are watching Formula One lately that we must watch the race considering that Max is not there. So we count from the second to 20,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so in our hearts, Lando Norris has basically won the last two Grand Prix.
Exactly like that.
Exactly.
The real fans think that Lando is mashing.
Yeah, exactly. Herlin, tell the good people out there while we're started as well, while we're fresh. What do you do content creation wise? And because there's not very many South American, Brazilian based content creators out there for Formula One, and I think you're one of the real big ones out there that's up and coming in a growing space. So tell the good people out there what you get up to.
Yeah, so as a Brazilian, we grow up watching Formula One, waking up on Sunday mornings, because in Brazil it's kind of different the time. I remember my father waking me up to watch some races, Schumacher time, because I'm from 1991. I was born in 1991. I couldn't see. Yeah, I couldn't see Senna, but I remember after watching his videos on YouTube and everything. And I think all Brazilians, like once in life, they watch some Formula One race. So the thing that I do now, I spend like 5 years living abroad.
Wow.
And one of my biggest dreams was travel around the globe watching Formula One races. So I could save some money when I was in Australia working there. And then in 2022, last year, I start my trip traveling around, watching some races. I did 16 races. Yeah.
That's incredible.
And the main goal was like, when I first start to think about to travel, watching races, I was Googling like, how can I go to some track? For example, how can I go to Bahrain Grand Prix? And I couldn't find anything. In that time, you only could find things as like from the Formula One YouTube channel, like highlights. But you couldn't find like grandstand, which grandstand would you go, which one is the best one, which one is the most like cheapest one, and this kind of things. And then I was like, no. So if no one's doing it, I'm going to like figured it out how is the best way for any race. And then I did 16, being grandstands, being general admission ones. I was struggling with, the money, traveling on low budget, staying in hostels. Yeah, and then I did like 16, and a couple of them I did because my audience is very engaged. The Brazilians really likes what I do, and then they helped me a lot. They still helping me, and then I'm trying to push to achieve all the races on calendar. But they every year they are adding more races, so
Exactly.
it's getting hard, man.
You got 24 next year to deal with.
Yeah, 24, man,
Oh dear.
24.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
I did 5 already this year. I did
okay.
Miami. I went to Miami, so Miami it was a new one because I couldn't do last year. So
Mm.
this year I'm trying to focus in the ones that I haven't been. So that's the main goal. But yeah, I've been to Silverstone again. It's amazing atmosphere.
Oh yeah.
I say all the time to Brazilians, hey, if you wanna go to a race outside of Brazil, because actually, to be honest, Interlagos is one of the great tracks on the calendar. But a part of that one, guys, Silverstone. There
Mm.
is the pinnacle of motorsport, Formula One races. So
Brilliant.
I did for second
Brilliant.
time.
Yeah, so brilliant. Do follow Hurlin's channel. It's in the description in this video and on the box you can see on screen right now. Absolutely worth going out of your way to see him. Very, very important fan knowledge in an area of the sport that I don't think we get an awful lot of coverage about in general. It's certainly a gap that not a lot of people are prepared to explore. So do give Hurlin a WTF1 bump from us after we're done here. But we've got to talk a little bit about the Grand Prix, and we've got to talk a little bit about the man on our screen. The big
Yes.
news story going into this weekend, Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo back in F1 after Nick de Vries suddenly lost his job in the week between this race and Silverstone. They gave Ricciardo a tyre test. They liked what they saw, and next thing you know, Ricciardo is back in the seat and he's back in an AlphaTauri. I mean, so what did you make of Nick losing his job, Herlin? And did you think it was right for the Red Bull Academy to do that and to move on and to bring Daniel back?
Man, to be honest, Formula One is kind of a hard environment to be,
Mm.
and if you are not performing, they're gonna kick you out. So it's pretty much simple like that. And I think De Vries had many chances to prove something, and he couldn't do it. And Ricardo was just waiting for, and the worst part was Tsunoda was performing better than De Vries, but De Vries also was making a lot of mistakes, like basic ones, let's say
Yeah,
that. And
yeah,
that's the
definitely.
thing. It was pretty much not the same situation because as Mick before, but it's kind of something like that because Mick was hitting the car, crashing all the time, and it was pretty much the same. But De Vries couldn't manage himself to perform well and at least beat Tsunoda at least once. But it's harsh. Formula One environment is harsh. So
Mm.
Ricardo is smiling again, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a difficult one. I mean, he was only given 10 races. It's hard to perform in a brand new sport like that in a short amount of time. I have a little bit of sympathy towards Nick. I feel like, I mean, when Pierre Gasly was at Red Bull and he lost his job, he had 12. So De Vries had even less of a chance than
Yes.
Gasly did. So I think it was almost certainly a harsh one, but I think given that Red Bull are so dominant right now, they can almost afford to take a gamble and see what Ricciardo's got, as opposed to just running De Vries for the rest of the year, because they've already got both championships in the bag, so why not roll the dice and see what you've got, basically. So, yeah, I think it's a harsh one, but I can certainly understand why Red Bull's made this decision. We'll talk a little bit more about Daniel Ricciardo's performance in a minute as we put up the tier list right now. Let me just pull that up right here. You can now see that on screen. So this is what we're going to do now for the next half an hour or so. We're going to basically determine driver performance over the course of the race, and obviously whoever we think we did best, we'll put in the S tier, A, B, C, and D as we go down the ranking system. I mean, Okay, I'll get a funny joke out of the way now. We haven't updated this yet because unfortunately there wasn't any high-res pictures of Daniel Ricciardo post-comeback. So you're going to have to pretend that Nick de Vries is Daniel Ricciardo just this once, okay? So
Okay.
forgive us on that one. We'll get to we'll do Daniel Ricciardo now. I mean, he was 13th on the day. He did a pretty long medium stint to end that race. Beat Tsunoda pretty comfortably in 15th in the end. I want to say B for Ricciardo for his first race back. I think that's for a first time back, first race in 6 months. I think that's a pretty good first weekend, Hernan. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's not too bad at all. I think it was pretty much good on him. He had an issue in the beginning of the race as well.
Yeah. He was hit by Zhou Guan Yu from behind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he went into the side of the two Alpines. So he was caught in the middle of a bit of a set of chain events there.
Exactly. So I think he could manage 1 or 2 positions up, but 13 is not too bad. And I heard the AlphaTauri boss is saying that he must at least 5 races to start to judge him better. But 13 and beating Tsunoda, it's the first signal that he's doing well.
Yep.
He did. So 15 is Tsunoda was 15, right?
Yeah.
And Ricardo 13. So this is pretty good. This is pretty good. I think the Aussie big smile is back.
Yep.
And a lot of fans like him. And to be honest, I was kind of critical last year because he was just smiling through the paddock and not performing. And now I think he has a chance, and now he's gonna give everything to come back to maybe Red Bull. I don't know. He's looking Paris
could be
car from far. Let's wait. But he's a good chance that he can score some points for AlphaTauri, and let's see what can happen. But yeah, I'm happy for Daniel. I like him.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good result. I think B's about right. I love that in the chat we said Mike saying Nick didn't even show up. D. Very funny. I see what you did there. Very good. I agree with the chat. I think that was a pretty good first weekend. I think let's get some of the S ranks out of the way. Max, again. I think that's a pretty straightforward one. Where is he now on my screen? I can't see him. There he is. Yeah, Max in S. Another completely dominant win over 30 seconds. I think that's an easy S rank again for Max. He's just, I mean, for a little bit of history, he's only now the 5th man in history to win 7 races in a row. And Red Bull broke the all-time record for 12 consecutive victories as well, beating the McLaren MP4 record from the 1988 season. So a 25-year record just fell. So yeah, 12 wins on the bounce for Red Bull. They are just completely impervious. And hey, I think we could finally say a good weekend for Sergio Perez. He finally made
redemption.
I think A is about right for Perez on this one. I mean, yes, he didn't qualify well. He started from 9th, but I think his race pace was very good. He passed everybody up, including Hamilton and Piastri, ended up on the podium in 3rd, was a little bit quicker than Lando towards the end. Didn't eventually get him. I think he gave up towards the end. But I think A for Checo is about right. What do you reckon, Hernan? Do you think that's about right?
I agree. I think he recovered himself pretty well. He did nice overtakes. I think one of the best moments, one of the highlights of the race, it was he's trying to overtake Piastri, the wheel to wheel very nicely. I think I agree 100%. That is, he must start to do that pretty much every race now on.
Yeah.
Could be more fun.
Let's put it this way. A couple more rounds like that and people will not start talking about his seat being in danger anymore. I think that's the key point. If he just sets a few more of these podiums like that, just steady the ship a little bit, I think is the way to go. I agree with the chat. Lando Norris goes in S. I think that's very straightforward. Another outstanding weekend from Lando. Did everything he could do. 3rd in qualifying, 2nd on the day. Didn't have the pace to take on Max, but best of the rest in 2nd place. And in the eyes of us, the race without Verstappen, Lando Norris is a winner in our hearts. So I think it's fair to say
exactly.
Exactly. So I think that's a very straightforward S for Lando Norris as well. I'm going to put his teammate Oscar Piastri in A. I think he was a little bit behind Norris in terms of raw pace. But I think it's still not a bad result to end up fifth in the end. And he fell behind Hamilton late on. But I think A is fine for Piastri as well. Are you okay with that, Hernan?
Yeah, I'm okay. I think his starting was amazing. He took like a nice opportunity to go inside and was like P2 in the beginning of the race. So I think he did really well as well. He's being unlucky, let's say that. He's being unlucky. He just need a bit more lucky, and then he's gonna get his podium for sure. It was in Silverstone as well, now here. Yeah, but will come for sure. He's deserving it already, I think.
Yeah, he was unlucky at Silverstone not to get one because of that safety car. I think he was a little bit short on pace today that robbed him.
Yep.
But I still think overall it's still a very solid performance. I think A is absolutely fine for Piastri. Now, here's the one that's going to be interesting. Lewis Hamilton started from pole, ended up fourth. I thought there was hope for a Hamilton win. His race pace dropped off a lot in the middle of that race. Ended up fourth. Was trying to chase down Perez at the end, maybe for third. Ran out of laps. I think it's somewhere between A and B. Like, what do you reckon, Hernan?
It's hard, but yeah, I don't think I think he did everything that he could. I remember in the middle of the race, I don't know, they were changing his engine modes in the middle of the race. He was complaining about the pace and the engine and everything else. But man, let's leave him with Perez and Piastri. I think, but it's because the pole as well was magical one. So I think he deserved to be on A. Yeah. I will go with A.
The chat is very split here between A and B. This is interesting. John saying B, not Sunday for the poll. It would be harsh for me to put him in B. I think maybe what it was maybe the poll gave people heightened expectations. Maybe they thought maybe he can genuinely win it because he got pole position. I'm leaning towards B on this one. And Mike's saying it's tough, but I'm leaning slightly towards B. John says B. Mallory says A. Fergus says A. This is tough.
It's hard. This is a hard one, man. Let's go B then, because let's go B because I think he lost his first position really easy to Max, so he could fight a little bit, at least one lap on a pole, but he lost in the first corner. So I think B.
Okay,
B.
yeah,
I changed my mind.
I'll go with you, Hernan. We're gonna go B on this one. Maybe the chat could talk me round later at the end, but we're gonna go B for Hamilton on this one. Let's get some of the other names washed out of the way. Let's get Zhou. Unfortunately, caused that incident. Ended up down the order in 16th place. So let's put Zhou in D. Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Poor reason. I think we're going to put both Alpines in C. Traditionally, we put DNFs that weren't the driver's fault. We tend to put them in the C tier.
Okay.
So I think that's fair. I think that's fair. To put the Alpines in there. Of course, their race was over after 15 seconds as a result of that horrible start. For anyone that was checking on Esteban Ocon, by the way, because he did have to go to the medical center because he landed straight down on the front of his car and actually cracked his seat in two.
Yep.
He's okay. He has tweeted since then that he's okay. It was just given a precautionary check, so Ocon is fine. Just an unfortunate incident, and he was collected in the middle of that. Zhou, Ricardo, and then both Alpines got hit as well. So unfortunate on that one. John says C for the good show. That's a quite funny one. Alpha House said Zhou carrying on Bottas's tradition of bowling. That's
true.
I think that's very fair on that one. David Alred saying, Hernan, are you Brazilian? Yes, he is. We love Brazil around here. We love that. Who should we go to next? Let's Should we do George Russell? Because I'm tempted. I've got
P6, right?
Yeah, P6 in the end, because Leclerc had a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It bumped him up in the order. He did start 18th. Now, I don't know how much that that qualifying result is going to go against him. I've got Russell in A. Is that fair for the comeback? I think A is about right for George.
I would say that for two reasons. First, he did recover himself good. Like P6 is not too bad. I think he could do more, but let's say P6 is not too bad. And for me, he did not the best overtake of the race, but he put his car to overtake, I think was Sainz, in a really good way. And he went like outside of the last corner, and he was like amazing, his technique to do that.
Oh yeah.
And I kind of enjoyed a lot. So that's why I'm gonna leave him in A.
Yeah. Mr. Alpha House says B or a low A. I'm leaning towards A on this one. Chat, feel free to chip in as ever if you have an opinion on this one. I do see them. I'll try and read out as many as I can. Joe F, to be honest, I did see that. From who said that? It was Devon in the Wall. Yeah, great shout on that one. I think A for Russell is about right, personally. On that one, I think that was a very, very good comeback. Given his teammate with a clear run ended up 4th and Russell was 6th, I think that's about the maximum Russell could have hoped for. According to the chat that I'm in, they were saying that Russell's strategist thought he was going to end up 11th. So to end up P6 is actually a very, very good result for Russell. A great comeback from him. Nice reminder of his class, certainly, on that one. Which reminds me, because we're halfway through, let's quickly get into the MoneyGram send of the day for best overtake. So, are you going to give it to George Russell for that overtake, Herlan, for the MoneyGram send of the day?
Actually, no, because I think his overtake by the end of the straight, it was not nice one, but what he did before, it was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
But I think the nicest one, it was Perez on Piastri, maybe? Or
yes.
Remind me another one. But this one was really good. And what it was good as well, Perez and him were like wheel to wheel for the other corners as well. Second and third corner, right?
Right.
And he put like Piastri kind of wide a bit, but Piastri could manage back. And so if you judge for the entire scene, I think that was the best one for me, like Perez on Piastri.
I agree with you. That was what I was going to suggest as well. So for me, Sergio Perez going around the outside of Oscar Piastri through turns 1 and then 2 is going to be our MoneyGram send of the day. Sergio Perez getting all the positive attention on one of these rap shows for once, because he's not had a great run of form lately, but he's getting some shine on this one. So yes, Sergio Perez gets our MoneyGram send of the day. On that one. I know some shout outs as well to Oscar Piastri, because I know Piastri got some love for that start as well. Turn 1, going up to 2nd place off the line from 4th. That was also a very fair shout. So hey, maybe Perez and Piastri, given that Piastri was involved in the fight as well, maybe they could share it.
But I think Piastri was like more about taking a nice opportunity, because the drivers in front of him let the window kind of open, and he managed to go through. Yeah. But it was a good one as well. Let's say that.
Yeah, let's go for that. So let's go back to the tier list for the second half of the show. Should we do Ferraris and get the Ferraris out of the way?
Oh, man.
7th and 8th for the Ferraris again. Again, I want to kind of put them in B, and I say that because I don't think the drivers are the problem, although Leclerc did get a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and that was on him. And to be fair, he also the thing is, I kind of want to say Leclerc B and then Sainz maybe C, because I think Leclerc was better in qualifying. I think he had a slow pit stop as well. There was a 9-second stop he had in the middle of that as well. And he had a speed in the pit lane penalty, and he still beat Carlos Sainz on the track. That's not a good look for Carlos. So, is that fair? Do I say Leclerc maybe B and then Sainz C? Do both Ferraris go in C? I don't know. What do you think, Herlan? You tell me.
I put 2 in C, but as you said, I don't think it's on their shoulders, these positions
No,
on
I don't
this
think so either.
race, because I heard Martin Brundle saying like Ferrari is still making mistakes with the basics. So that's a kind of harsh on them, but I think Leclerc and Sainz, they are trying to manage much as they can during a race, but they can't do everything by themselves because they still need good strategies, and I don't think like the Ferrari team is doing a really good job. But yeah, I don't think Leclerc or either Sainz could score better positions on this race. Maybe losing the P6 for Russell is a kind of bit, I don't know, let's say,
Little rough.
kind of, yeah, a bit, yeah. So like I think Leclerc could go to I don't know. You put like Leclerc on B, right?
Yeah, I got Leclerc B, Sainz C at the moment. I
Yeah.
think that's fair.
Yeah. I think it's fair. Yeah, I think it's
We'll go
fair.
with that. We'll go for the chat. Leclerc got so much haunts today and still did the best he could.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah,
fair from Mike. Overview effect saying Sainz should get an A for being both a driver and strategist at the same time.
yeah. This is true.
Yeah,
This is
bump him
true.
up,
Yeah.
bump him up. Yeah. I'm joking, but I like what you were saying there. Overview effect, very good. I think I'm going to go with I'm going to keep it there. I'm going to keep Leclerc B. I'm going to
Yeah.
go Sainz C. I'm also going to put Alex Albon in B as well. I think that was, I'm actually tempted to go A because Williams are like Albon very quietly was 11th.
11th.
Was
Yeah.
just missed out on points.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
And I know for a fact that Williams does not suit Hungary at all.
Yep.
It's not their sort of track. It's a very draggy car. These lower speed, more technical tracks, they don't suit the Williams very well. And Albon still came home in 11th, just missed out on the points. I'm going to say B. I think he's just in the B side of that.
B. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you reckon?
Yeah, B. And how crazy it is, my friend, because in Silverstone, like Williams was a rocket.
Yeah.
And change a track, they didn't do the same. So that's how Formula One is magical, you know? Every track has your own characteristics. And yeah, Williams couldn't do better than this. I think Albon is still carrying the team, leading the team actually really well. I think P11, I think it's B. B is fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair as well. I think B's about right for Albon. If he'd gotten in the points, I would have given him an A. I think. Given
for sure.
Yeah, so maybe just 11th probably just puts him on the lower end of that, certainly. Also, Diplo in the chat saying De Vries is pretty high. It's Daniel Ricciardo, I promise. We haven't got the updated picture yet. We promise we'll get around to that real soon. Forgive us on that. So because we were a little bit caught out ourselves back here by the news. So we didn't get around to fixing the tier list. Apologies for that. Let's. I mean, I've also got a comment here from Mikaya. Forgive me if I pronounced that incorrectly. It says, as an Alonso fan, I would say C. Let's do the Aston Martins now. I think C's actually about right because I say that because I remember earlier this season. I remember Fernando Alonso saying they thought they could win this race. They were very confident that Hungary could be a race that they could challenge Red Bull for a victory, and they had a lot of hopes pinned on this race. They ended up 9th and 10th, barely in the points. They were one of the weaker midfield teams we had all weekend. I think both.
Yeah.
I think both Aston Martins in C.
Yes, C. Straight away C, because I don't know. My kind of judgment is when the commentators doesn't say much about some drivers, it's not because they are doing bad, but also they are not doing well. So let's put C, because I don't think C is like a kind of neutral tire list. So I think C.
I'd say so. I think that's about right. I mean, there was a lot of hopes for Aston Martin this weekend, and I think they certainly underperformed on that one. I'm actually quite disappointed by that. I was hoping that they were going to maybe get up there and challenge for a podium, but it looks like they're starting to lose out in that development race in that midfield. I mean, they were very strong at the start of the year. I think they might be starting to struggle a little bit. So we'll have to wait and see. Because I mean, it's Belgium next weekend, and that's another very high-speed track.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting Aston Martin to be up there either, so we'll have to wait and see. I think they've certainly been overtaken in that race by McLaren, and maybe by a couple of other teams as well. So Mike in the chat says Aston's kind of disappeared in recent races. I agree.
Yes.
Cy Regara saying as well, Alonso didn't do the same again, and Stroll is again no good. Stroll at least, came back into the points from 16th on the grid, at least. I think it was something like that. But yeah, just a bit of a nothing weekend for them. Diplo saying surely you've got to exclude both Alpine drivers from the tier list. They didn't even do 2 laps. Yeah, we've established, Diplo, we generally put mechanical retirements in C. It's just an average sort of ranking. It's kind of the same thing, really. I mean, if you wanted to take them out and they weren't included, then that's absolutely fair enough. I've got a couple of Ds to get through here. I think Kevin Magnussen, 19th on the road. Honestly, I think we need to start having a conversation about Kevin Magnussen's job soon, because he has been poor the last five or six races. I think Kevin Magnussen has massively lost out to Nico Hulkenberg, and I worry about Magnussen, because his average finish has been really, really poor the last handful of weekends. He was the last man over the road in this race before, apart from Logan Sargent, who is probably also going in D, because he spun out right at the end and he wasn't having a particularly good day in the first place, and then he spins out right at the end, and then fails to finish. So I think Magnussen and Sargent both go in D, unfortunately. Is that fair? I think that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, pretty fair. No debate about that. And some Brazilians were making jokes about Sargent there. He asking if he's the new Latifi, because he didn't. Yeah, yeah, because he couldn't finish this race. Actually, another DNF, and it was 2 laps to the end, and he made a mistake, like that.
Yeah, I think it was 2 or 3 laps out. He spun out. He spun out of the chicane.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. There's a couple of Ds. Valtteri Bottas. I think he deserves B. I think B for Bottas on this one. He finished 12th in the end. I think it's a little bit disappointing, but I think he also badly lost out off the start, because he was directly behind Zhou, who almost stalled. He pretty much stalled his car. I know the cars have got anti-stall these days, but that was a horrible start from Zhou. And then Bottas had to get out of the way, and he lost ground because he was directly behind him. Ended up 12th in the end. I don't think Alfa Romeo's race pace was as good as their qualifying pace was, where they were 5th and 7th. That's a shame, unfortunately. So I think I'm going to put Bottas in B. That leaves Hulkenberg and Tsunoda. Do I dare say D for Tsunoda for 15th?
Yeah, I was, as I said before about Ricardo, it was kind of Tsunoda homework to finish in front of Daniel Ricciardo. He couldn't do. So I'm going to put him in C, probably.
C? I think C's a bit better. I don't think Tsunoda. I mean, Tsunoda did lose a lot of time in the pits as well, so I think that gives him a small reprieve. I know Crusader Larry in the chats as well saying, "Damn, I'm late. Why is the freeze there?" Because he's Ricardo. I get it. I know it's a bit confusing, but we'll have it fixed for next week. I promise. So I've put Tsunoda in C. I think C for Hulkenberg as well, because he was the better of the 2 Haas drivers. I think he fought well to get 14th on bad tyres. I think Hulkenberg in C is about right. I'm gonna put Sainz back into B with the other Ferrari. I think I look at that and I think that looks a bit better to me. Chat, if you want to, debate so many names marginally. You got
what is the fans saying About Sainz and Leclerc, what did they say before?
I saw a couple of comments
They're
like
kind of even, right?
yeah, I saw a couple of comments saying Jules Max saying how is Sainz C and Leclerc B. I saw a couple of guys saying I was being harsh on Sainz. Is that better? Do we give Ferrari the benefit of the doubt
on Sainz side, he was, as some fans said, he was managing his car and giving to Ferrari team on the pit wall the instructions, so the strategy. So he was doing two jobs actually. So yeah, I think it's fair to put him in the same level as Leclerc this time, maybe.
Larry said C is good. Jordan Goodwin says nah, I'd say Sainz is definitely C. Okay, I'm gonna go with my original decision. I'm gonna keep Sainz in C. Okay. Jordan Goodman saying for Leclerc to go through so much and still beat him can't be passed up. I agree. I think that's actually a fair shout. Sainz probably. I mean, he was put on the soft tire as well, which probably
in the beginning of the race. Yeah, I think Sainz was with mediums or mediums, right?
Yeah.
And no, sorry, Sainz was with soft ones.
Yes.
And Leclerc in front of him with medium ones.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
And I heard the guys on Sky Sports saying that, look, Sainz can't even get close enough to Leclerc in this beginning of the race. So I think makes more sense. True.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll go with that. So that's our final tier. So we got Verstappen and Norris in S. We've got Perez, Piastri, and Russell in A. We've got Ricciardo, not Nick de Vries. It's Daniel Ricciardo, I promise. Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, Alex Albon, Valtteri Bottas in B. We've got the Alpines, the Aston Martins, Sainz, Tsunoda, and Hulkenberg in C. And then Joe, Magnussen, and Sargent in D. I think I'm happy with that final tier list. I'm sure you guys will tell me in the comments how wrong I am after the fact, because that's how this normally goes. Just before we get out of here, Herlon, again, tell the good audience at home where they can find you one more time. It's a shameless plug. Plug yourself. Go on.
Yeah, guys, if you want to see different perspective of Formula One environment, do follow races. I do go to racetracks, with my backpacks and trying to show fans that they can do as well, and trying to show them how to do and which grandstand to choose, how is the interaction with fans in every part of the world. And they can follow us on YouTube as well, f1namochila. It's in Portuguese, but means Formula One in my backpack, and on Instagram as well.
I was curious to ask what that actually translated to. I was like, oh, that's actually fascinating. So F1 in the back. That's a fantastic name. I love that.
Yeah, mochila. The word mochila means a backpack.
Oh, I see.
And I do travel with two backpacks that I call Latifi and Stroll. That's the funny story behind.
Okay.
And trying to show fans that they can do as well. They can follow their dreams, because a lot of people dream about to go to a Formula One race to watch it, and it's very different from watching from TV. Different perspective. You can see fans interact with them, and it's really nice. And I hope you guys like the content. So we are on the same name on Instagram and also on YouTube as well.
Yeah, so if you can, please give Herlon a little WTF1 bump from us. He's also a part of the WTF1 talent expansion. We're going to have plenty more of those guys being featured on this content and on our channel a little bit more often. And I just want to say a big thanks to Herlon, because you got to remember as well, English is his second language, and I think he's done a marvelous job covering for the fact that he's had to not only talk to me, who talks too much, but he's also had to do it in his second language. I think he's done a marvelous job. So again, please bear that in mind before making any comments. I think he's done an excellent job, and I'm very, very happy to have had him on with me as well. We'll be back next week for the Belgian Grand Prix, the last race before the summer break. Will Max Verstappen win again? Probably, but we'll have to see what else happens besides that. Thank you all very, very much for watching the WTF1 powered by MoneyGram. Again, check out their first money giveaway. Sign up for Hass's updates. You've got a shot of getting a share of $5,000 due to Hulkenberg's Q3 heroics. Again, when will Haas make a car with good tyre wear? Damn it. Until next week, thank you all very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the show, and until next time, we'll see you next week. Take care. Sayonara.